Hey everybody, Sensei Randy here. Welcome back to another episode of 40 Plus Fitness. And we're in our another nutrition segment today, and we're very excited. We have Kate Cretsinger who came back to us today, and we're gonna hit the kitchen, and she's actually gonna share with us a recipe that she does. I think she prepared it as a dessert. It was really good. Chocolate was made with, I believe, almonds, and really tasted almost like a chocolate mousse, but it was done with all healthy ingredients. And for those of you who know me, I'm not a huge fan of trying new things generally, and I especially get nervous doing it on camera in front of people. And it was awesome. She put me on the spot and had me try it, and it was actually really good. We've actually made it since, and we've taken it a couple trips that we've done. We've brought it with us, and had it at the house for some appetizers a couple nights when we were hanging out, having some friends over. So really, really cool, very healthy, and she's gonna walk you through the whole process on how to make it. And I think she even shows you how she serves it at the end too. So really cool episode. We hope you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you'll try it and you'll enjoy it as much as we did. Thanks. Enjoy the show. Hey everybody, Sensei Randy here. Welcome back to another episode of 40 Plus Fitness and our nutrition segment. And we have Kate back with us again today. And we're back in the kitchen. Yes. So you've taken away like a whole bunch of my favorite foods, but you did give me some alternatives, which I really like.
Good, good. We're going to give you another one today.
So I'm excited to see what we have today. So
awesome.
What do we got?
So today we have, I call it nut batter. It's one of my famous signature desserts that I make, and when people come over or when I go like present at people's offices and we talk of education about nutrition, I always bring this for them because this is one of the big things that people love to have, is something that is yummy and something that is actually satisfying. And the good thing about this is that you don't need a whole lot of it, and you feel satisfied just having, you know, like a little serving size of it. So that's why I like having it on board at our house, and it's really quick to make and really easy to make. So
cool.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the rest of the ingredients first. And what I have here is walnuts. It's a whole bag of walnuts, and I do organic and raw. And the reason why I do that is we're all about removing inflammation. And so when we have nuts that are roasted, it actually, I call it, it turns them rancid. And what that means is, right now in its natural state, it has the perfect balance of omega-1s, omega-3s, excuse me, and omega-6s. So it's the 1-to-1 ratio, and that's what we need. We do need some inflammation, which is omega-6s. Omega-3 fights inflammation. So when we add heat to this, it turns it all to omega-6s, so it turns it rancid. So omega-6 is what causes the inflammation. So this is what will cause the heart disease, high cholesterol.
So in this state, it's basically like neutral to the body.
Yes.
Which is what,
which is what we want, yes. And this is a lot of fat in it, which is good for us, as we talked about in our last cooking segment. And then it also has some protein in it because it's nuts. I know there's a lot of people out there that are allergic to nuts. You can do other things. You can use seeds, seeds of any kind. I've done it with pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. Same thing. You want to make sure they're raw and they're not roasted and salted. So you want to just make sure you get them in that raw form. So this is a whole bag of walnuts. And once again, if you didn't see the show before when I did the cooking, I don't measure. I just throw stuff together. And as we go, we taste, and then we keep adding more. That's just
the best way to cook.
Yes, exactly. And this is coconut milk in a can, and this is my all-time favorite. I use this for everything. We use it for our coffee in the morning. We use it in all the cooking that we do that asks for cream or for milk. And what this is just full-fat coconut milk in a can, nothing else. And if you look at the containers, there's usually like 12 different types of ingredients in there. You can sometimes find some cashew milk or some coconut milk that only has like 3 or 4 ingredients, but there's still some added stuff to make it last on the shelf. I always say the American food is made to be sustained on the shelf, not in the American gut. You know, so I think is the least amount of ingredients that you can find, the best. This one is called Simple, and it has nothing in it but coconut milk. There is one that you can find that has coconut milk and gargum, and that's just a natural thickener. And I still don't believe in us having that. That's just me, and because I'm really strict, like I said before, the yes or no, it's no. So I believe, getting this as much as possible. If they have it in store, that's what I get. So this is coconut milk. And then I have coconut sugar, which it looks like brown sugar almost.
Yeah.
One thing I love about coconut sugar is that a lot of people say, well, I go with honey and I go with maple syrup. I'm okay with honey and maple syrup when you're baking. I'm okay with that because you're not eating the whole thing. Well, maybe, but most times you're not. So I always say, you know, if you're cooking, yeah, that's fine. I tend to like the taste of the coconut sugar as well because it's more like a brown sugar, so it has that unique taste to it, and it covers up a lot of flavor, sometimes the bitterness of other things that you're having. And walnuts have a lot of bitter, so that's why I like using the brown sugar, or the coconut sugar, excuse me. The cool thing about coconut sugar, which I don't think a lot of people know, is that it's only heated to get to this form. So it's not like it goes through a lot of chemical processes to get here. So a lot of people say, well, I stick with, you know, honey and maple syrup because it's in its true state. Other than maple syrup being heated from the tree, you know, and from the syrup, excuse me, to make the syrup, it's only one process. Well, that's the same thing with coconut sugar. If you take a tablespoon of maple syrup, that's over 20 grams of sugar. Whereas if you take a tablespoon of this, it's 8 grams of sugar. So it's huge, right?
Yep, big swing.
And as we talk about in the other episodes, I'm all about inflammation, right? So we want to not have that spike in insulin. So I'm all about, you know, the least amount of the sugar that you can, and lower glycemic stuff is the best. And coconut sugar is low on the glycemic scale. So we want to make sure that we stick with that. If you compare this to white sugar has 9 grams in 1 teaspoon. In 1 teaspoon of this, it's 4. So, you know, you got to kind of take that into consideration too. So the serving size of it. So if you do a teaspoon, it's 4. If you do a big tablespoon, it's 8. Yeah. And then I have the cinnamon here.
That's what I could smell.
Yes, you can smell that.
I thought it was the coconut sugar.
No,
I'm like, ooh, that's a lot of cool.
Yeah, so this is cinnamon. Cinnamon's good for us. It's a good detoxer too. It's a good cleanser. So cinnamon, as much as cinnamon you can put in anything. And I even like it with meat. With people like, ooh. But if you really think about it, it's the beef kind of covers the flavor of cinnamon too, but this is really good to even put in your coffee if you have it in the morning. It's good stuff for you to have. And then what we have here is cacao powder, and this is in its truest form. So if you were just to take a taste of this, it would be really bitter. And this is the cacao that I'm talking about that we have great benefits from. You know, so a lot of good antioxidants in here, magnesium, everything that the body needs. This is great, and it's a good anti-inflammatory. They call it a superfood for a reason. So when people tell us that chocolate is good, this is the chocolate they're talking about.
Not my Milky Way.
Not your Milky Way or your
Gotcha.
Snickers, yeah, or your Hershey's bar, right? So I also have it in another form in the bar. I put it in here so as a garnish if you want to put it on the top. And this is also bitter. It's 85%. I feel that it's way sweeter than what I'd normally eat. I like having this cacao powder by itself with a little bit of coconut milk, and I'm good as like a chocolate milk, right? So I like doing it that way, and it's funny because my husband looks at me and he's like, I don't understand how you can do that, but the more bitter, the better. And that's one of the things that we have a hard time eating is bitter stuff, because if you think about it, everything we eat has sugar in it.
Right.
Right? So what's the opposite of sweet? It's bitter.
Bitter.
So, you know, once you get rid of the inflammation in your body, your taste buds starts to change.
It's funny, I was actually talking to somebody about this earlier today, because we were talking about I never ate vegetables. And then I got hooked on the green drinks. And after the first time I took the green drink, again, I had been to a seminar, and I'm going to de-cleanse and I'm going to detoxify and I'm going to drink this green drink. And I took my first shot of the green drink and literally was like running for the sink. And I'm like, oh my God, there's no way. But after a couple days, suddenly it wasn't as strong. And, you know, as I was on it for longer and longer, and now after this time, like I notice if I have something that I used to really crave, like a Kit Kat bar.
Yeah.
They had like the little Halloween Kit Kat bars this past holiday. And I tried one and I was like, ooh, it's like really hard. Or soda. I haven't drank soda in years. And we were at a function and that was what they had. And so I tried to take a little sip of soda and it was like, oh my God, it's so sweet. But you don't notice it when you consistently drink it. It's basically normal.
It's funny. And a lot of people laugh at me because this 85% is really sweet for me. And a lot of people eat that and they're like, oh, that's so bitter. You know, so it's funny how you say it. We do adapt. You know, the more, and a lot of people don't realize our taste buds get inflamed too when we have inflammation. And so when we start removing the inflammatory foods, our taste buds change.
Yep.
I've had people that come in, they're like, you're not getting me to eat 85%. You're not getting me to eat avocado. You're not getting me to eat sweet potatoes. You're not, you know, they always say that. And I wish I always had that in writing or in a video.
Yeah, take a video of it when they do it.
Because by the time they leave, they're eating all of it. You know, they love it,
Yeah.
and it's a part of their routine. You know, and so it's really cute to see that. And I was like, okay, I would never use absolute. So.
I was famous for doing beef with broccoli with just beef, and they would look at you. Well, there's not going to be much there. It's like, that's okay.
Just want the beef.
I'm not going to eat the broccoli, and now it's one of my go-tos.
Yeah.
You know, especially this time of year, the steamed vegetables. It's like, oh, broccoli. All right, yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how your taste buds shift as you start to detoxify. Even your mouth detoxifies.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the other thing we have is vanilla, and I like using vanilla. That also makes things taste sweeter than what they are. So normally when I make this, I keep the coconut sugar out of it for myself. I just use cinnamon and vanilla, and that in of itself makes it taste really sweet for me. And one of the things that I like to get when it comes to vanilla is I get the stuff without the alcohol in it. So no alcohol vanilla is what I like to use. This one is a bigger bottle, so this one, it does have alcohol in it. So.
And that's good,
okay.
because normally I'd be drinking wine while I cook. So just
That's
kidding.
what we're missing, wine. So let's get started with this. So we're gonna have to do a couple batches of it because
Okay.
I don't think all of these will fit in here. So what I normally do is just, like I said before, I don't measure. So I'm gonna try and put as many of these in that I can without it flying everywhere. There we go. So maybe we'll just fill it up halfway, because whoops. All right, we'll throw those in there. I'm sure you don't mind.
Score.
All right, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of cinnamon in there, probably about a tablespoon. And I'll probably do the same with the cacao. Now, you don't have to put the cacao in there. I just like adding it in because like I said, I like bitter. So that's why I do it, but you don't have to. And then we'll do half of the vanilla. Ooh, that's gonna dribble. And then what I will measure this out because I don't like putting a lot of sweetener. As you know, when I make it, I do it without. So we'll probably just put like a teaspoon in there for now.
Okay.
If you need more, we can put more in for you. All right, because we know that this is going home with you. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in, and like I said, I don't measure, so I try and put at least half of what's in here for the nut. Right, so I'll do that.
Gotcha.
Because I like using an immersion blender for this. So when I do that immersion blender, it gets it really fine, and there's still some little bit of chunk like a cookie batter. This is what's going to resemble as a cookie batter. Okay.
Cool.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and mix this up without really. I'm just going to do this first before I turn it on, because all that cinnamon and sugar will go flying everywhere. So I'm just going to kind of crush this down. I saw you step back. Okay, you ready? I'm going to turn this on. All right.
What do you got?
Oop. All right, so you got to use muscle when you do this.
That's a good thing this is a fitness show then.
Right? There we go. See, look at the consistency in there.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like cookie batter. All right. So what we can do with that now is, when I normally serve this, is I would put this, I'm going to use this bowl because we'll blend the rest of these up. So I'm just going to use this as a place to sit this down. If it'll stay up, maybe not. Let's do this.
That'll work.
I'm making a mess. All right, so we'll use this to scoop it out for you. And what I normally do when I scoop it out is, you can see it has the batter, a batter consistency. Yeah. And then I normally will garnish it with a whole piece of chocolate, or you can do the cut up chocolate that we have here. And sometimes to make it look pretty, I'll put like a blackberry on there or a strawberry. Just have one of them on there. And I'll let you have a taste of that so that you can let us know what you think.
That's very good.
You like that?
Yeah.
Would it need a little sugar for you? A little bit more sugar? Or is it?
No, it's actually very good.
It is, all right. You look surprised.
You can taste it. Yeah. I know. I'm sorry. I should know better.
Wait a minute.
But no, it's. I was concerned with the blending of the walnuts and how that was going to taste. It was going to be You can taste the walnuts, but it's not strong. It's
Yeah. So to make that a little less strong is the coconut milk, or if you want to add a little bit more vanilla, so you can kind of play with it that way. I like getting a mix of nuts and doing it with a mix of nuts. So if you do, like, all of them have to be raw, as I'd mentioned before. So like hazelnuts, macadamia nuts are really good because they're really high in fat. So those are like really thick. Those make a thicker batter. Almonds are good. But throwing some seeds in there too are huge. So if you get a mix of these nuts and you do it different every time, it tastes different every time. So I've done them with almonds. Those are my all-time favorite. The almonds with the cacao it's just so good. It's like chocolate covered almonds, right? So you can do it that way. Seeds, if you can't have nuts, so knowing that is huge because there's a lot of nut allergies. So you can do it with any kind of seed as well, as long as it's raw. Yeah.
The chia seeds, stuff like that?
Yeah, you definitely can. It makes it thicker, so just be prepared to add more.
More coconut milk?
Yeah, and so if you're using the chia seed or flaxseed, those are both natural thickeners. And so what I would say is only mix it when you're going to serve it, because the longer it sits, the thicker it gets.
it's going to get.
Yeah. So if you're going to, I say deliver it, if you're going to serve it right away, go ahead and make it with those two. But if you're not going to, then add it after the fact. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here eating the
Good,
whole
I'm glad. I'm so glad. It's good to see you eating it. So yeah, it's really thick too when you think about it, right? So
yeah, definitely not the consistency that I expected, but
yeah,
I can see where it would definitely be filling.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to eat, you could eat the whole thing, but I don't think your belly would be too happy if you did, because it's heavy, it's nuts, it's thick. So it's really good with fat. It's got a lot of fat in it, and this is the healthiest kind of snack that you could have. And it's tasty, and it will give you like some satisfaction. And we're all talking about, trying to overcome the bad habits that we have and those rituals that don't serve us. And this is one of those ways of doing that. And it's really fast and easy to make, and it's great to throw in the fridge and keep it in the fridge. Now, when you keep this in the fridge, the coconut milk gets a little harder. So it's a little thicker consistency, and that's okay. I mean, I like that personally. So I like it when it's really cold and when it has time to sit, because the flavors kind of melt
Yep.
together and that way too.
And I can see what you're saying about putting like a berry on it. Just
Yeah.
it looks nice if you're
Yeah.
having people over for dinner. You serve something like that for dessert. It looks like a really, really nice dessert, but it's actually very healthy for you, and it's very good.
Yeah, and think about when you have kids over too. It's believe it or not, my stepkids love it too. So it's not, just for adults. The kids love, and you could put berries instead of the dark chocolate for them. So they've got some stuff on there. One of the things that I like to do is the frozen mixed berries, blend those and put a little bit on top. So they've got a mix of
So you're adding in the berries with it?
Yeah. So
Just
the
like
kids
from
really
all our
love that.
shakes from our second episode.
Yes. So I think this is great, like for kids too. So it's not just, people would say, well, only adults would like that. I know a lot of kids that actually like this too. So.
Yeah, very good.
Awesome. Yeah, and you can, like I said, many different versions you can do, and obviously it's just quick and easy to keep, and you don't have to put it in serving sizes. You can just leave it in a big container, and chances are when you're hungry or you want a snack, 1 or 2 bites will be satisfying enough. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I can't picture that. I can definitely picture
The whole thing?
this whole
I saw
bowl
you
is going to be
contemplating
gone.
that. I'm like, okay, he's not
I'm trying to be
buying
good,
that.
and I'm putting it down just because I will literally sit here and eat the whole thing while we're chatting.
I love it.
So, yeah, and I mean, we have everything laid out nice here. I mean, realistically, if you were to make something like this, from the time you started working till the time we finished, I mean, there's no real cooking involved, so
No.
it's
Quick and easy.
took us 5-7 minutes actually to whip up, and you could whip up,
Yep.
4 or 8 batches pretty quick. It'd be nice and smooth. So.
I say that the cleanup from this takes longer than the making, because you got to wash, these things have the
All the
blades
teeth
in
in
there, so it's really quick to do. And you don't have to serve it cold if you don't want to. And it's just really simple. If you're looking for an elegant dessert, you can make it elegant if you put it in nice little bowls.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about the berry with a little bit of a chocolate on there, or sprinkle some of the chocolate on top of it.
Yeah, because presentation it's
all
so
about
important,
presentation.
because you gotta Got to make it look good so your
Yep.
brain goes, ooh, yeah, that's good for me. Because it does,
Exactly.
it picks up on those things.
Yeah.
If I didn't have one of the immersion blenders, just the regular like the
blender.
bullets or
Yeah.
blender would work fine too.
It would. It's just more, it just gets stuck at the bottom of that blade so much easier than with this. You can kind of move it around. That's why I like the immersion blender. But yeah, you can definitely do it with a regular blender too. It's just more cleanup work and harder to get it all out of there. So,
Excellent.
yeah, awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for
Thank you for
joining us
having me.
again. I have plenty of snacks to bring home again this week, so
Yes.
I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having you again and
Anytime.
showing us some more stuff.
Yeah,
everybody
absolutely.
out there, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you guys are going to go home and try this. I know this will definitely be on my plan for this weekend.
Yeah.
I have a big family function coming up, and I'm actually excited. I'm going to bring this, and I'm going to trick my family into thinking that they're having something that's, not healthy for them.
I want to hear about that. I want to hear how it goes.
So they're always looking at me like, "Why are you always bringing healthy stuff?" I'm gonna let them know, "Hey, look what I got this time." I just won't mention that it's really good for them too.
Right.
So
Yeah, just leave that out.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you for
again.
having me.
Everybody out there, have a wonderful time. I'll see you next time. What's up?